injuries to deal with. Plus, Patrick Mahomes and more than 75,000 screaming fans who will make their voices heard. And cold is also the sting the Dolphins felt last week after losing to Buffalo, losing a home playoff game in the process. Yeah, that happened. But Coach Mike McDaniel says it's now a clean slate.
Here's the thing about the NFL playoffs is as much weight as all the things that happen during the season carry. There's narratives galore that grow out of results. In the playoffs, it doesn't matter. It's a reset.
And as for the cold,
when you're playing football in colder weather than you'd hang out in, then it can be one of two things. It can be an excuse or it can be something that galvanizes the team because you're going through it together.
The Dolphins lost to the Chiefs by a touchdown back in Week 9. A learning experience, says Christian Wilkins.
I just remembered, we were able to make some adjustments, kind of see how they were attacking us early. It's kind of just pretty standard throughout the course of a game. But they're a very good football team. They have a very good offense. So we'll have to bring it.
And Tua? Well, Tua knows what's been said this week. He knows about the obstacles. And he knows what has to happen.
I think the guys are excited that we still have another opportunity and we're not necessarily leaving the building with a bad taste in our mouth from the last game. But it's just another opportunity for us to hopefully do what we said we wanted to do all along.
Playoff football on Saturday night. The Dolphins getting ready to meet the Chiefs. It's time to figure this one out on Gameday Uncensored. The pregame show for real Miami football fans on AM 560 Sports, WQAM, FM 99.9 HD2, always live on the free Odyssey app.
Gameday Uncensored is sponsored by South Florida Lexus Dealers. Experience amazing. By Tito's Handmade Vodka. Tito's Handmade Vodka on game day? Pour me in, coach. Ed Morse Sawgrass Buick GMC is a proud partner of the Miami Dolphins. Remember, you're always backed by Morse. By JM Lexus. At JM Lexus, you'll always get the home team advantage. By Kendall Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Start the new year in a new ride with no payments for 90 days.
All right. Welcome on in, everybody. Game day. Uncensored here on 560 WQAM. Off to a little bit of a bumpy start, but we'll get all settled in here. It's just going to be like the weather here today. We got to storm through, Omar. That's how we got to get through it here today, as the Miami Dolphins are getting ready for a frigid game in Kansas City. Some of the coldest temperatures you've ever seen in a playoff game. And that is what we are facing here when it comes to this wild card weekend. The Miami Dolphins are going to go in there into Arrowhead Stadium with something in the realm of like -20 wind chill. I have friends in Kansas City who are telling me they can't even give tickets away to this game because nobody wants to go be a popsicle. And this is a wild one tonight. People are wondering, people have called it dangerous. Is this a game that they should even go out there and perform in? And that's what we got to that's what the Dolphins are going to have to man when they take this on, Omar. This is going to be a crazy challenge for them.
Hell.
All right, there you good. Now we hear you.
No. Do you hear me?
Yeah, I do hear you.
Oh, okay, cool. Listen, this is going to be a no excuse game. You're in adverse circumstances. The situation is not ideal. The weather you're going to play in. I mean, could you be a polar opposite team of the conditions that you're actually going in? No. You're not going to have great pass rushers. More than likely, you're probably not going to have your two starting safeties. Your pass rushers have participated in all of one practice with the exception of Emmanuel Ogbah and Melvin Ingram. But somehow you're just going to have to find a way. Your top four offensive weapons are either not going to play or going to play banged up. That includes Achane, Tyreek, Waddle, Mostert. You just got to find a way, man.
In a way, it's like it almost People have been seeing the buzz has been kind of on social media. Do you postpone a game like this because it's so crazy? The weather's so nuts. In a way, Omar, I almost feel like this is better for the Dolphins because it kind of feels like it's going to even some things out, because this just makes for it's going to be a weird way no matter what. And this is kind of one of those where maybe an old ass Bruce Irvin can go get a sack in negative 30-degree weather. Maybe some wild stuff can happen where like a ball gets pulled and that's how you just have to go about it. So in a way, I feel like for the Dolphin fan that wants to play this in the cleanest conditions possible, I don't know if that's conducive for you getting a win because of how things are set up right now with the injury situation.
When you say cleanest conditions possible, what do you mean?
Just like if you played in like a normal cold game where there wasn't negative 30, like let's just say it was a 30-degree game, you know?
Okay.
Where there was just a 30-degree game with some wind, a little bit of wind. I'm talking, but like not hellacious conditions. I feel like the crazier the conditions, it kind of evens things out because both teams have to go through it.
No doubt about it. I think both teams have to go through it, but one team is accustomed to it. And in fact, Patrick Mahomes, do you know he's never played a road playoff game?
I did know that.
That's crazy.
It is crazy.
I know the Kansas City Chiefs have been pretty good over the years, and Patrick Mahomes is clearly the king of the NFL right now. But to have never played a road playoff game, that's nuts.
That's the Tom Brady blueprint for his entire career. Just beat up on your division. You have a ton of home games. Like that's what the other GOAT's path has been. You don't want to go out on the road, and that's why the ending of the season. That's for all the Dolphins fans who are asking about this. I'm like, they did it to themselves. I don't know what to tell you. Like when you fumble the opportunity that they had.
They fumbled the bag.
They fumbled the home field advantage bag. That's on them. Yeah. I don't know what to tell you.
You should have taken care of business against Tennessee. It was right there on a platter for you.
That's
you
the one.
Didn't.
That's the one right there.
And then in the season finale, we got to a 153.
Yeah.
We've watched and waited. You've had 6 instances where you had to put the team on your back. You got it done against the Chargers. You kind of got it done against Dallas. I'm not discrediting that. That's one of your 8th fourth quarter wins in your NFL career. But you had 4 other opportunities where you had the opportunity to seal the game or at least tie the game, give your team life. You didn't take care of business, and that was a definite I didn't take care of business situation last week.
Yeah, that's the thing is like I can't sit here and be like, oh, I'm going to sit here and cry about the situations. Like they had the Willy Wonka was there. He's begging you, please take this. And then by Willy Wonka, I mean Josh Allen. He's like, please take this game. I'm giving it to you.
You better be respectful to your daddy now.
You know what it felt like?
You know what he said to Tua after the game?
I know. I did hear that.
Did it give you goosies or no goosies?
I didn't know how to feel about it, to be honest with you, because
Daddy says he wants to see you later.
I don't know. Like,
he wants to see you.
It's almost like, was that a pity thing? Does he truly feel like the Dolphins are a challenge? Like, I didn't know how to take that from Josh Allen. Was he just being polite? I didn't know how to take that. And for those who don't know, we're talking about on Hard Knocks. Josh Allen goes up to Tua and he says, great game. We're going to see you guys. See you in a couple of weeks.
He says it twice.
Yeah.
Because Tua ignored it the first time. And he says, brother, I'll see you in a couple weeks. Okay.
Is he trolling Tua?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I think he is.
I don't think people do that to Tua. If it was Wilkins, I'd say yes.
Yeah, he greeted Wilkins too. After did you catch the video of Wilkins going for the junk? Yeah.
Christian Wilkins is a dirty player. I know that. But he's our dirty player. I don't care.
Oh, okay. So you can grab junk as long as it's our player.
Absolutely. Did he grab that football at the most opportune time? He did. His team let him down.
Hey, all right.
His team let him down. Christian Wilkins is like, here you go, guys.
That's true. You're right.
2-score lead. Go
You're
get
right.
it.
You're right. You're right. He put his team in the situation to win the game, and they didn't. They fumbled the bag.
It's not even. It's beyond fumbling the bag because they lost the Tennessee game and they lost to Buffalo. You needed one good half of football to avoid this today. You needed one good half of football. You know what? You didn't even need a good half of football.
See, hold on.
You needed one mediocre half of football, and the Dolphins. You know what they gave you? One half of football that was equivalent to a big turd.
Okay.
That's what they gave you.
While I do not dispute your claims and do not dispute the arguments that you are making, even if you did have one good half of football and we're not in this situation and did host a playoff game, I'm sorry. But the way that your roster is right now and the way that you're on fumes from an injury standpoint, I'm not sure you would have won anyway. Like, are you really confident if you're playing anybody other than maybe the Pittsburgh Steelers that you're going to walk away with a victory based on what this roster is right now? Four old pass rushers off the street, Elijah Campbell and Brandon Jones back there as your starting safeties, Eli Apple and Kader Kohu in your secondary. Like, you've got like 4 good players on your defense right now.
Are you asking me, would I be more confident facing Mason Rudolph or Patrick Mahomes?
Okay. But that's not you weren't guaranteed to face. I think you were going to face Buffalo. So let's not carry.
I know he's been a nice story, but make it Joe Flacco. Are you asking me, would I rather take on Patrick Mahomes or Joe Flacco at home? Yeah, like no, of course it's a better situation. What are we talking about here?
I don't know, man.
That's why I'm saying, like, for the Dolphin fan that's upset about this being in a historic weather condition game, you should be happy about it. Like, that's you should be happy that there's some kind of there might be some kind of weirdness that happens.
Some kind of balancing act.
Yeah, like I'm thrilled.
It evens
about
the
this.
scales. It's like, when they
No, it
put like
doesn't.
weights on the scales.
How
Yes, it does.
It
Solana,
doesn't.
Yes,
Solana,
it
they have
does.
they have a great running game. They like, honestly, the Dolphins. This is probably all they could ask for when it comes to setting up a game plan. If you ask Dolphins versus Chiefs, who do you think is going to go and
This
have
might
to
be the best
control the
rushing
game?
attack in like franchise history.
Yeah, this is set up for them from an offensive standpoint in
Right.
a good place.
Right. And your quarterback isn't going to be able to feel his fingers by the end of the first quarter.
Got
And
hand warmers.
struggles in cold games.
No,
Yeah.
he doesn't have hand warmers because he
He
said
does
it.
have hand- he
No,
does have hand
Tua
warmers.
said no. It's a mentality.
No,
Yeah,
dude, that
yeah.
dude's-
He said he's going to use hand warmers.
Yeah,
He's
it's a
gonna have it.
He said
mentality.
he's going to use hand
Yeah,
warmers.
Tua, it's all
He's
right.
gonna have a kangaroo pouch with a furnace.
Yeah. You know what that kangaroo pouch feels like when it's minus 30? Like a damn box of ice. That's what it's going to feel like. He's not going to be able to feel his hands by the end of the first quarter.
No excuses.
I mean, I
Patrick
understand.
Mahomes can't feel his hands either.
But I'm just saying, like, I understand what the idea of, hey, Chiefs, their secondary is good. Their rushing defense, I think it's around 15 to 18 the last time I checked last week. So the idea today should be Mostert, Achane, go win you this football game. Don't turn the ball over and hope that the Chiefs, their passing game
Don't forget the O-line.
is totally paralyzed as well because of the conditions. I'm with you, and I hope that's how this ends up being. But I still think at some point in this game, you're going to need Tua Tagovailoa to make some plays, throwing the ball. And I'm not confident, not because I'm not confident in Tua, but I'm not confident in these conditions.
So
that
you believe in
Tua
cold weather?
Tagovailoa-
You believe in cold weather too?
Absolutely, 100%.
You believe
Because I
this is a
saw
real
it.
thing.
Because I saw it in Tennessee, and
It was raining too. Are you not going to excuse that? Rainy, cold, wet ball? No.
no, it
Okay.
was freezing.
He
I
looks
was
at me like
in
I'm
a
crazy.
booth.
He's like,
I was
no.
in a booth freezing my damn ass off. I wasn't even on the field, and that was only like 30 degrees.
Yeah, but you know the odds of a game like with 30-mile-an-hour winds and wind chill in the 30, like, you know the odds of Tua having a 300. Like, Mahomes probably isn't going to have that either.
No, I don't think that he's going to have to throw for 300 yards. I'm just saying at some point in this football game, you're going to need your quarterback to make plays with his arm. And I'm not confident in these conditions. Again, not that I'm not confident in Tua making those plays, even though, we could have that conversation. But in these conditions, I think it's easy to just say, oh, running game. Come on. This is perfect. Mostert, Achane,
but
go
even
ahead.
if
Go win the football game. No, that's not going to be good enough to win you a game on the road in Kansas City.
It can be. It can be.
The one thing I would say, though, is like a lot of what they do is getting Tyreek Hill in short space and letting him go. You have a DB that falls on his face because it's icy out there. They know. See, the one thing is they know where they're going on the field, and the defense does not.
And Tyreek is familiar with playing in those conditions and on that field. It might benefit you. Now, do I feel confident about Jalen Waddle? No.
I don't think anybody has experience playing in these conditions, Omar. I got to stop you right there. I really don't. Like, there's one thing to say, hey, you played in cold weather all your life, or Tyreek Hill, 6 or 7 years, whatever it was. He played in cold weather in Kansas City. He's used to playing in 15, 20-degree weather. Like, I'll agree to that. Nobody, no human is used to performing at this level in 2-degree weather or minus 5-degree weather, wind chill making it minus 30. Nobody's truthfully prepared for this type of condition.
And I find it funny that they're like, yeah, we're going out there with no sleeves. It's a mentality. Come on, bro.
I do love that.
Yeah, you love it.
Yeah,
What does
I
that
do.
mean, Tobin? What does that mean?
No, if you wear sleeves, you're soft.
You're proving you're a tough guy.
Yeah.
You're freezing out
It's
there.
a mindset. You guys, your
Okay.
mind's not right.
Okay.
Your
Yeah.
minds are not right.
I know where this is leading. That's fine. Call me a bitch. I'd wear every single layer I could possibly wear.
I would be 3 layers deep.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm sorry, Tobin.
Mhm.
I'd be wearing like
Yeah, but
like
it's like
stockings.
it's not good to hold onto the football and have a sweater under your jersey. Like that's
You know, it's also not good, Tobin. Frostbite.
there's nobody I want in the trenches more than you, dude.
You know, Zach Sealer. You always say he's a good-looking man.
Yeah.
You know, what would make him a lot less good-looking? Missing an arm.
Zach Sealer's the only person I'm convinced is going to handle this just fine.
He is gonna
He's
handle
going to
it
do.
fine,
He's
just
going to do
fine.
snow angels. And do I have Zach Sealer anytime touchdown at plus 10,000? You bet your ass.
I'm really glad Zach Sealer got the bag a couple months ago because it
man.
would have been very hard to do it missing his hand.
Only
That-
$8 million a year, which looks like a real big bargain right now, baby.
We'll take a quick break here on Game Day Uncensored. Hear from some of the parties. The Dolphins have a lot of new faces on that defense. They are very banged up. Back after this.
WQAM broadcasting live from the Ed Moore Sawgrass
Welcome back, everybody. It's Game Day Uncensored here, 560 WQAM. We usually take you up to kickoff. We're only going until 7 today because we got Canes Hoops coming on after us. Who are they taking on? Vatek today, Solana? I think that's they're taking on the Hokies.
They got the Hokies.
Back. I mean, that last loss. Oof.
2 straight ACC losses.
Yeah, let's get it going there, Canes. Meanwhile, the Dolphins here today. I really just, Omar, how the hell is the defense going to do this? This is crazy. The last Hard Knocks was heartbreaking. I mean, I'm tired of Hard Knocks ending with losing a defender. I'm getting sick of that. I loved Hard Knocks this year, but that was like the twist at every. It's like, Jalen Phillips goes down. Now Bradley Chubb, and now Jerome Baker, and I'm just like, and Jerome. Then they had Jerome Baker's mom. It was too much. She takes him home. He's wearing giant red boots.
He's wearing the Mario Brothers boots.
I was so sad. I was like, because he's like, that's not good. That's cracking. And he plays through the game, and the defense just comes through.
Emmy-worthy stuff.
It was great. And then just Drew Rosenhaus comes out of the shadows.
Yeah.
I have bad news. Where did you come from, Drew?
That's how Drew operates, actually.
Just like
if you didn't know, I swear to God, I will be anywhere. I literally will be anywhere, and Drew will pop up just out the shadow. Like I just expect him everywhere. I swear to God, this is how my life is with Drew. I'm like, no matter where I am watching athletes train, Drew's gonna pop up.
Crazy, man. Did you watch it, Solana, this week, or didn't have it in you?
I didn't have it in me.
Man.
Are you serious?
I'm
bro.
Coward,
it was a great episode.
That was such a good episode.
I know. I saw everybody saying probably the best episode.
They emptied the clip.
Of Hard Knocks.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. No question about it.
Because they didn't know.
It was an emotional tear jerking. Because here's the thing: they took you through Jerome Baker's comeback.
Yeah.
They showed you the challenges, the journey. This is the first time they've actually showed you the road back from the injury, and then they show you him giving his speech to the team, and he's like, I'm tired of losing to Buffalo. Yep. Every time they send us home, they end our season. This is our time. This is our season. Then they have him out on the field. Crack, crack. Oh, I'm playing through the injury. He's like, oh, I don't know if I could play through the injury. Then Duke Riley says, tape that hoe. And he's like, okay. So he tapes up the wrist.
Bad idea from Friends.
then he goes like, and I'm like, quote, I was quoting Duke Riley. Like Duke says, tape that. You know what I'm saying? And then he goes out there, and then the critical Josh Allen scramble for, I think it was a penalty on Ramsey, so it didn't count, but he converted it because Jerome couldn't wrap him up and get him down. And then he's looking at the wrist, and he's like moving the wrist, and he's trying to see, but then he goes back in. He stays in.
Yep.
And then the game ends, and you're watching Jerome walk off the field in sadness. And then after the game, the mom is there. Where's my baby? Oh, my baby. How's my baby? Oh, here comes Drew.
But they keep cutting to the mom during the episode, too. She's worried about it. Like a mom's instinct. She knew something's wrong.
The mom's instinct. She knew her baby was hurt.
But Bob behind her goes, he's all right.
He's all right. He's all right. He put a little dirt on it. And so at the end, she's talking to him, and she's talking to Jerome, and she's finding out why he's so late. And she said, Mom, I had to get an x-ray, but it's all right. Then Drew comes up. Well, Mrs. Baker, it's broken. He's got to have season-ending surgery tomorrow. All this journey for the last 5 weeks to get here.
It was a killer.
Done.
It made me more of a fan of Jerome Baker.
Absolutely.
I feel like it was probably the most Dolphin fans have had appreciation for him because he's been here a long time.
And nobody puts respect on his name.
Nobody. But I feel like if you watch that episode and you don't love Jerome Baker after that episode, I don't know, you must be heartless. Must be heartless after that. People are heartless, but
they are, yes.
But it was
Chicago last night. Trust me, people are heartless.
Oh my God.
Well, I mean, did you see The Last Dance? I'm just saying, MJ, she had to know what was coming.
MJ did a number on everybody around that.
It's crazy. One documentary and people are booing a widow.
Let's get to the keys to the game here, brought to us by Edmore. Shop massive savings on a massive Chevy inventory, all backed by Morse at Edmore Sawgrass Chevrolet. Visit EdmoreSawgrassChevrolet.com. Chevy, find new roads, different fangs. He might have 5 starters down. Here's what Fangs had to say. A man who is that old, has he ever seen anything like this? Here's what Vic Fangio had to say about it.
Any other team you've been around where you're going to a playoff game with half the starters replaced and you're bringing in any comparison that you've had?
No.
You set us up there. I love Fangs for that. It's like, yeah, oh my God, did you hear my Channing Tindall question? Yeah. I asked him.
I completely forgot Channing Tindall was on the team.
Yeah. I asked him, like, so you're down every linebacker. You're gonna have to sign guys off the street. Channing Tindall has a size to play edge. He's done it before back in Georgia. Any chance that you could utilize him in that role? He's like, no. He could barely actually play inside linebacker. He didn't say that.
You can see the look in his
face. You can see he looked at me like, that's a dumb question. Like,
but it's a totally fair question because you're like, he's a 3rd round pick. Like,
Yeah.
let's see what he's got.
And Fangs looked at me like, he could barely play inside linebacker. You want me to put him to another position?
Omar, I listened to you ask that question. I was like, I completely forgot Channing Tindall was on the team. It just.
So does Fangs. Don't worry about it.
Flew out of my mind. I was like, oh yeah, I remember.
Cam
that.
Smith too. I'm sure he wouldn't know what he looked like.
You think Chris Greer checks in on Fangs every once in a while? He goes,
no, nobody checks in on Fangs.
Nobody checks in on him?
Nobody checks in. Listen, there isn't a man with more power in that organization, and I'm not kidding you. Like, you just don't mess with Fangs. You do what he says.
The old don't want to be messed with.
Yeah, and you're just like, okay, all right, if you say so.
Tell you what, though.
What's Mike McDaniel going to do?
Nothing.
Honestly, what's Mike McDaniel going to do? He just sits there and takes it.
Yeah, but you know what kind of pisses me off a little?
What?
Settle down, Fangs. Like,
you
got fired. You got fired as a head coach.
This is what was told to me when I was trying to be like, yo, this guy's kind of a little rigid, non-compromising. Consistently, this was told to me. 1/3 of the NFL is running his defense.
I think he's good at his job. I just want to be clear. I think he's good at his job. He doesn't like young players. That's very clear. But he seems to be he's very stuck. But he's old.
Is that the umbrella that we're putting over him? Because Kader Kohu is a young player, and Kader Kohu has probably struggled more than 80% of the entire NFL.
Fair. That's fair. That's fair.
So I don't know if it's fair to say he doesn't like young players.
But maybe Kader Kohu, like in practice, is showing him he'll do exactly what Fangs wants him to do, right?
Maybe.
So he's earned his respect.
And I'm not knocking Kader because I'm sorry if Xavier Howard and Jalen Ramsey on the field. I'm sorry, you're getting attacked. But he's been under heavy fire and he's got like 130 opposing passer rating. Like that's not good.
Well, one guy who's almost near Fangs at Century Village is Bruce Irvin. He's a Dolphin now. This was him this week. He said he's a dog.
The oldest, I told Jay Houston that yesterday. I said we're gonna have the oldest outside linebacker room in the league, but knowledge, a lot of knowledge, not a lot of experience, a lot of sacks. I think it's about in our room. I think it's like 245 sacks combined. So we don't know one thing. We know how to get to the quarterback. So hopefully it could translate to Sunday.
Yeah, he's incorrect as well, by the way.
The what?
There are 285.5 sacks inside the outside linebacker room.
Wow.
That includes Agba. That includes Malik Reed, 16 sacks. They have a ridiculous amount of sacks in that room. And I am not optimistic because they're basically don't know the defense, and Fangs is basically just saying, I got to dummy things down for them. They're going to play in little spurts, so maybe each of them gets 20 plays apiece. Situational packages probably, but it is what it is, and this is what you have to play the game with.
No,
and
it's wild. It's like, to find even guys who are just like, get on out there. I mean, they must have really hated Jason Pierre-Paul, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, no
call back on him, huh?
Nope.
Wild. Here's some more from Bruce Irvin, and he's going to show us all.
I'm a dog. That's what I can say. I'm a dog. I don't want to talk about nobody, but the league is different now.
Yep.
From when I came in, I had older guys, who really showed me the way. So it's a little different, man. Social media wasn't as big as when I came in and all that type of stuff, but I'm a dog, and I'm gonna just show you. And I feel like I might be 36, but I don't move like it. So I'm just can't wait to show y'all, and can't wait to have y'all tell me, dang, he was right.
Can't wait. Listen, I can't wait to tell him he's right. If he is right, I hope he doesn't show me he's wrong.
Man, I love that guy.
That gave you the goosies?
Oh, I love that guy.
That's probably how him and Fangs bonded. They just ripped about the young generation.
Yeah. TikTok.
Yeah, I don't mind. I think he's right, and I've covered. I'm old enough now to the point where I've covered probably 3 generations of football players, and this is definitely a different generation. I remember Adam Gase sharing a story with you guys. My beef with Jakeem Grant and Jordan Phillips, and and Adam Gase once sat me down and said, this generation is a different generation and they don't like to be criticized. So try not to criticize them. And I'm like, it's kind of my job.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
But I agree, but you can say the same thing always. Like, football players are evolving. I mean, 30 years ago, guys were smoking grits in the damn locker room, drinking Budweiser in halftime. So I think that's just normal. People evolve.
Yeah.
Generations evolve.
People evolve, but this is a way more sensitive era.
Everybody sees everything.
Huh?
Everybody can see everything now. Like, your criticisms aren't like it's one of the things. Like, I do believe like Tua can say, "Oh, I don't listen to any of that stuff." It's fine, but even if you don't listen to it, it's very easy for the criticisms to find you now. It's easier than it's ever been.
Yeah.
So if you don't handle that stuff well, or you let it creep in, I can see how it would skew you, that you bother it. I don't know how. Like, some people do it well. Like, if you're Tyreek Hill and you're the best in the league, and you will just troll everybody, then that's probably the best way to handle it. But if you don't feel that comfortable doing that stuff, I can see how it could eat you up.
No, and it does. And people always ask me, like, I tweeted out something yesterday. I don't even remember what it was because it was not that important to me. And it got 240 something thousand engagements on Twitter. If you asked me what it was, I wouldn't know. Like, there's hundreds of comments on it. Did I read any of them? No. But I just know my mindset. I'm not generally going to go read what people comment on my stuff, unless I want to engage with the viewers or with the audience, because it's just like, you got to be Teflon, baby. You got to let that stuff roll off your, as Bill Parcells, be an armadillo used to say.
What?
Be an armadillo.
What the hell's that?
Armadillos.
No, I know what the animal is, but what does that mean?
It have a hard exterior layer and be able to protect yourself. Nobody can penetrate you
unless you flip an armadillo over.
And then what are you going to tickle it?
No, you can eat it if you want it.
Are you really going to eat an armadillo?
I think Tobin
they have
would.
leprosy.
I think you would, though.
They have leprosy? How do you know they have leprosy?
I love animals, dude.
He's an outdoorsman.
Okay.
Tobin hunts iguanas for fun.
Do you eat them?
No, disgusting. No, I just throw them away. Get them out of my pool area.
Okay.
Like, I don't want it. Just like, I know I'm supposed to. That's what the people keep telling me. They're like, you're supposed to dispose of, like, take them out. But like, God, it's gross. I don't want to do that.
Okay.
What do you do? Just throw them into the woods or something?
I just throw them over my fence into the canal. It never comes back. And then Sunny Bunny helps me. My dog. She turned them into a pincushion. Oh, she's so happy with that. Take a quick break.
They know not to come in your yard.
No, I haven't seen one in a while. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's been great. If there's still an iguana problem, you don't know about the Tobin residence. Take a break. Back after this.
Text WQA
Tito's Handmade Vodka, Edmore Sawgrass Cadillac, JM Lexus, and Williamson Automotive.
Welcome back, everybody. It is game day, uncensored here on 560 WQAM. We are getting you ready for Dolphins and Chiefs wild card playoffs, which are underway right now. We have Texans and Browns just underway from Houston, and that is scoreless. Scoreless right into this. We're early on here. The Texans are marching on down. They're showing Myles Garrett right now. He's very scary looking. And so that's what we got. We're going to see that little battle. That is old versus young right now. Flacco v. Stroud in a very interesting matchup because you have the Houston Texans who, of course, got rid of Deshaun Watson, who is now the quarterback of the Browns. He makes a lot of money guaranteed, and nobody seems to know if he's good at quarterback anymore or not. And Joe Flacco is stealing all the Browns fans' hearts. So that's a very funny game from a trade standpoint. That's an interesting one to see. And then, of course, we got Tyreek. Tyreek finally gets his revenge game at Arrowhead tonight.
Downplayed it like a mug, though.
Yeah, I know. But I know how we all know how he truly feels.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't had it needed to be said podcast in a minute, but yeah, I was a little disappointed in Tyreek. He obviously didn't want to make a story. I mean, we had enough storylines. He did take a shot at the Patrick Mahomes and Kelsey that they're too famous for him.
That was funny.
Yeah, it was. It was funny.
He's like, I haven't text Mahomes since they whooped our ass.
Yeah. And then he's like, yeah, but I text Kelsey and he didn't get back to me. They're too famous for me now.
Yeah, probably. You can imagine how many people are probably trying to reach out to Travis Kelsey right now because of the.
It doesn't matter, bro. We played together.
Tyreek,
we won a championship.
Tyreek's on that level. No,
Tyreek's an A-list. Come on.
I don't know.
You act like he's a B-lister.
I feel like the only person whose calls he's answering probably right now, Travis Kelsey, or Jason's. That's it. Everybody else, leave me alone. He's probably got to hide.
What about Patrick?
No, I don't think
no?
so. No.
Well, I just don't think
I don't think Patrick Mahomes is trying to call him.
Yeah.
He sees him every day.
Okay.
All
right.
But I think if there's a handful of celebrities that can get into a part like a Taylor Swift party. And I think Cheetah might be on that list. I think he's the only Dolphins player that's on that list.
I'll tell you
come on. Tua can get anywhere.
No.
Tua can get in.
No.
Tua can get in. Come on.
He can't.
Tua can.
No, he can't.
Shania
Twain
Twain.
Was thrilled to meet him. Shania Twain is an icon.
It was like
Shania Twain. You're putting Shania Twain on Taylor Swift's
level. I'm not putting it on a level, but I bet you Taylor Swift grew up loving Shania Twain.
I bet you she did.
So what?
Wow. How about that?
So what?
I mean,
the young dude. What are you gonna do? This is going to be the coldest game in franchise history. Let's hear from Tyreek Hill on that. And he says, it's a mindset, dude. Tyreek Hill says, if you're cold in my freezer, you know what's off.
Well, it's a mindset, right? Feel like, if you believe it's going to be cold, then you're going to freeze your balls off. But if you go into this game, like not even thinking about any of that, you'll be fine. And with me being me, I played there. And I understand the conditions. I'm not even worried about it at all. So I'm gonna go out there with no sleeves, and just tell the rest of the guys, hey, look, man, it's a mindset. If those guys see you wearing sleeves, obviously they're gonna think you soft. So
obviously,
that is such a load of crap that I can't even. I was so tired of hearing about the weather all week.
Yeah.
And I understand this is going to be tremendously frigid. And I will acknowledge I've been in probably 3 cold weather environments. 2 of them happen to be in Kansas City, the 2 coldest games that I've ever attended and covered. And then I was in the Ricky Williams snow game in Buffalo where, oh my God, where
he didn't want to play in that.
Yeah, that was unreal. And I actually drove in. I drove in a car from Syracuse, New York for 3, 4, 5 hours in like a blizzard to get there with Dan Levitard and I think it was like Dan Levitard. It was like a Greg Cody. It's like a real like this car goes down in the blizzard. All the South Florida sports writers are gone.
Yeah, you guys are done.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's this is it's gonna be cold. And the funny thing is they downplay how cold it is, but then 5-10 years later, They'll tell you, man, that was the coldest game I've ever
I know.
participated in. I don't even know how we survived that.
It's what Crowder was doing because he played in that 08 Kansas City game, which is
Okay,
the coldest
yeah.
game in Dolphins history. He says that Joey Porter went out for warm-ups, and he used to warm up in like a tank top and like
Yeah.
sweats. Like that didn't matter what.
Went out shirtless.
And he went out and he's telling everybody, man, you guys are a bunch of bitches. Get out there. Stop being bitches. This, whatever. Crowder says he went out there. 15 seconds later, he came back in the locker room. He's like, man, that bleep is cold. And he put on a jacket. So, and Omar, I'm with you, by the way. Like, all week, all we did was talk about the weather.
Yeah.
But, bro, I mean, that's kind of the story, right? Going into today, I think more so than anything.
Well, I think it's like you guys mentioned with Tua. It's like people want to know, him in the elements.
Can he throw a
Can he
cold
throw?
ball?
Can he handle it? All that stuff. That's gonna be a thing.
The ball gets hard. And Tua, in true fashion, explained way too much information for the non-quarterbacks, and now they're like, "Oh, the ball gets hard on Tua. Oh, yeah, that's why he can't grip it." Oh, and then Tua tell you he's got to have heaters, and you got to keep your fingers warm, and he breaks it down why he doesn't wear a glove. And then the non-QB faction of Dolphin fan base, they're all in hysteria. We need to get a new quarterback because this guy can't throw cold balls.
It's gonna be so cold. Like I don't understand. Like, what do you want him to do?
Yeah, exactly.
They want Tua to go out there like Tua's like, I got ice cubes in this pouch, just so you know. I'm making it colder for myself. What do you guys like? What do you want? Here's Mike McDaniel with many words on the weather.
I prefer a Fangs answer.
He's gonna be saying
Fangs is like, Fangs did give a good answer.
Fangs, that's cool.
He was like,
Mike McDaniel saying cold weather, it can galvanize the Dolphins. But I'm sure he's sitting there and he's like, he had those shirts. He goes, I don't think it's possible to be colder.
Yeah.
I'm so glad he didn't pull out those shorts this week, by the way. Like I'm very, very happy that he
proud
didn't.
of him.
I am, because he likes the cutesy stuff. And I think, after you lose 2 straight games, you blow the division, like enough of, and listen, I love McDaniel, but enough of the cutesy stuff. All right.
Listen,
enough.
this is not the first coach who liked the cutesy stuff. This cutesy shirt stuff has been going on since Adam Gase.
I'm not hating on it. I thought it was hilarious when he first did it.
Who's the one who had the one with the wolf? That was
that's
Sperano.
That's Sperano.
Feed
yeah.
the wolf.
Feed the wolf. Yeah.
What the hell does that mean? Feed the wolf.
Oh, you got to know what feed the wolf is. And
Feed the wolf.
There was the sombrero too.
Here's Mike McDaniel.
Those type of experiences, when you're playing football in colder weather than you'd hang out in, then it can be one of two things. It can be an excuse, or it can be something that galvanizes a team because you're going through it together. Look, I don't think you guys would mistake me for a cold weather body. Okay. But I'm really excited to go do that with the team.
Man,
he's just talking gibberish right now. I want to see if Mike McDaniel is going to have his sweatpants rolled up.
Oh, he's got to. That's his look.
It is his look.
That's his look.
It
That's
is
his signature.
Yeah.
You know what I do want back on the sidelines today for McDaniel? A vape.
No. If he had vaped, he'd learn from his vaping experience and technically would not be vaping again.
Look, whether he
is what he says.
If he has a vape or doesn't have a vape because of how cold it is, there's going to be a part in the game where the camera catches him and it's going to look like he has a vape.
Well, today he can get away with it. All right. And I just think whatever it takes.
You want you want the secret vape?
If it takes, Adam Gase used to do the smelling salts or whatever to just give him like a jolt because he's a psycho. If McDaniel needs that little hit of Nick,
little puff,
just to get his mind going, whatever it takes, gentlemen.
Take a quick break here on Game Day Uncensored. Back with more after this.
Hey, want to see the ugly mugs that
Boca Raton, and Odyssey Station. It'll be cold. It'll be windy. It's going to be another ice bowl. Tonight, the Dolphins are in Kansas City, where the weather ain't pretty. The game might not be either. The Finns have some major injuries to deal with. Plus, Patrick Mahomes and more than 75,000 screaming fans who will make their voices heard. And cold is also the sting the Dolphins felt last week after losing to Buffalo, losing a home playoff game in the process. Yeah, that happened. But Coach Mike McDaniel says it's now a clean slate.
Here's the thing about the NFL playoffs is as much weight as all the things that happen during the season carry. There's narratives galore that grow out of results. In the playoffs, it doesn't matter. It's a reset.
And as for the cold,
when you're playing football in colder weather than you'd hang out in, then it can be one of two things. It can be an excuse or it can be something that galvanizes a team because you're going through it together.
The Dolphins lost to the Chiefs by a touchdown back in Week 9. A learning experience, says Christian Wilkins.
I just remembered, we were able to make some adjustments, kind of see how they were attacking us early. It's kind of just pretty standard throughout the course of a game. But they're a very good football team. They have a very good offense, so we'll have to bring it.
And Tua? Well, Tua knows what's been said this week. He knows about the obstacles. And he knows what has to happen.
I think the guys are excited that we still have another opportunity and we're not necessarily leaving the building with a bad taste in our mouth from the last game. But it's just another opportunity for us to hopefully do what we said we wanted to do all along.
Playoff football on Saturday night. The Dolphins getting ready to meet the Chiefs. It's time to figure this one out on Gameday Uncensored, the pregame show for real Miami football fans on AM 560 Sports, WQAM, FM 99.9 HD2, always live on the free Odyssey app.
Gameday Uncensored is sponsored by South Florida Lexus Dealers. Experience amazing by Tito's Handmade Vodka. Tito's Handmade Vodka on game day. Pour me in, coach. Ed Morse Sawgrass Buick GMC is a proud partner of the Miami Dolphins. Remember, you're always backed by Morse. By JM Lexus. At JM Lexus, you'll always get the home team advantage. By Kendall Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Start the new year in a new ride with no payments for 90 days.
All right, welcome on in, everybody. It's Game Day Uncensored, hour 2 of our coverage. Getting you ready for Wild Card Weekend. The frigid showdown between the Dolphins and the Chiefs. Miami has a wild card. Going to have to go on the road and get this done at Arrowhead. A rematch from earlier in the season where they played in Germany. Dolphins got down early in that game, 21-0. Made a little bit of a comeback, but did come up short. And so they'll need to get this done on the road because of their end of the season woes and coughing up that 2 seed. They now will find themselves having to get this done in very, very tough conditions tonight. The weather in Kansas City currently is sitting at 1 degree. It is going to be by game time tonight, -4. And by the second half, somewhere around -6. The feels like is going to be anywhere from -20 to -25, 30. So, pack a parka, everybody, just so you know.
Crazy, man.
If you're my buddy who I do the MMA podcast with for BetQL, he is based in Kansas City. First of all, he showed me his they had a blizzard earlier in the week already to put on top of this
Sounds
weather.
fun.
Yeah, it looked. I was like, I can't believe you live there. It sounds terrible, but
you do have choices in life.
You do have choices in life, and then he's telling me today. He goes, or he told me yesterday. He goes, can't give away these tickets. He goes, I have tickets. I don't want to go. Can't give them away. Nobody wants to go to this game. Nobody wants to go and be freezing their ass off in this type of condition.
I did. I like this tweet from Dave Hyde. It was earlier today. It was 8 hours ago when I had woken up. But Dave Hyde tweeted, "It's warmed up from about an hour ago," and he screenshotted the weather app, and it was 1 degree.
It's a brisk.
Boy.
It is brisk. It is brisk. But the Miami Dolphins have their own issues coming into this one as well. a lot of them having to do with health, but we'll hopefully, get some reinforcements with Jalen Waddle and Raheem Mostert. And Jalen Waddle is our player to watch, which is brought to us by our South Florida Lexus dealers. Experience amazing. Here is Tua Tagovailoa on the potential return of Jalen Waddle.
Yeah, I think it helps us out a lot. And then it'll uncover what defensively what they want to do. If they want to bracket both those guys, we're gonna have to find other guys that can win their one-on-one matchups. Or if they want to double Tyreek, we'll find Jalen or we'll find someone else that is working their matchup. So we'll come out, we'll see what they want to do, and we'll go from there.
Let me add a little context to this.
Okay.
And it's very uncomfortable for me to say this. I said it on Twitter Thursday when I saw it, because I hadn't seen Jalen Waddle practice on that ankle injury until Thursday. Worst practice that I've ever seen, to the point where he could barely balance himself on that ankle.
Worst practice you've ever seen, period. From any player, not just
from anybody, even a player coming back from an injury.
Jeez.
And if he actually plays in that game, God bless him. And if he's an impactful player in that game, man, boy, these drugs that they give you, they are amazing. He had no ability to stability on that knee. I mean, on that ankle. Wasn't able to stop himself. Change of directions was not very good. At one point, he was kind of stumbling out of a route, trying to shift his weight. Man, I felt sorry for him, and I get it. There's absolutely nothing to save him for after this game. But if he goes on that field, and if he's active, and if he even contributes and is anything but a decoy, because right now I put him on the field, I'm not even scared of him as a decoy. God bless him, because to play through that and the way that he looked, now maybe he was just trying to fool us, because we all looked at it and it was like, whoa, this is not good.
Have you ever heard of a player doing that, playing possum?
I don't know. I mean, hey, they did. We're supposed to watch the first 30 minutes of practice, and they basically could determine what you do, and they let us videotape him doing some of that stuff. And even if you just watch the video, because I tweeted out one of the reporters compilation of practice video, and I was just I didn't commentary to it, just watch it. If you know what you're looking at, you saw it too. And I feel sorry for him, because and the whole team is kind of egging him on to play, which obviously Teron has played at 70%. Teron has played when he shouldn't have been out there. Of course he's going to tell Jalen,
I thought the
get out there when you're not supposed to be out there.
I thought Cheetah's comments on it were interesting, because Cheetah was like, here's Tyreek Hill after practice one day this week. This was him asked about Waddle.
And this is right after the practice.
Huge playoff game, man. You're going against, Super Bowl champions. So who wouldn't be ready for this game, man? I mean, that's just my opinion. Like, the type of competitor he is, these are the type of games that Jalen Waddle lives for.
It's like because that Tyreek's playing banged up too.
Yes.
And so he's gonna be like, yeah, you better, if you
you
can, you better.
If you can, you better. And that's clearly the mindset that they're. But I'm thinking to myself, and I know how Tyreek feels, and I know how everybody on that offense feels. Nobody is getting open on that receiving corps except for Tyreek. Like, to the point where Durham Smythe is your second best weapon on offense right now, and that's Durham Smythe, who has never been an offensive weapon in his life, not even at Notre Dame.
Well, let's good. Let's cool on the Claypool package, because I'm done with that.
Oh, you don't like round routes? You're off those round routes.
Jesus.
Listen.
I mean, the Bears fans, you want to talk about nailing that one? They're like, good, take them. By the way, have you seen the meme of his curse?
No.
The Claypool curse?
No,
I don't have the exact records of it, but it's like the Bears with Claypool were 1-10. Without him, 5-4. And the Dolphins, since they've got him, under 500. Before they had him, were something in 2. So now they think there's a Claypool curse.
I don't buy any of that, and I don't think he's a horrible wide receiver. I think he needs a lot of work on his routes, and a lot of work on chemistry with Tua. Like when they put him out there on that field, and I didn't realize this until you watch Hard Knocks, and then I said, oh wait. So Hard Knocks revealed a couple of things to me. One, Hard Knocks revealed that Claypool works on the scout team because we can never see who works on the scout team.
Yeah,
basically mimicking the other team.
And you can tell because they got a vest on, right? Like that's how you can tell.
They got a vest on, and sometimes at the end of the week they wear the camouflage. If you got scout team player of the week for the position, you wear the camouflage jersey. And so I noticed him playing scout team, and when you basically play scout team, that means you do not work with Tua. Like you're on the opposite side of the field working with the defense. So you're not working with Tua. And then for him to be out there on the field for the final play because Tyreek gets hurt and runs that circular route that he had no business running. And I know the Dolphin fans want to put all of that on Tua. I'm like, hey, if the wide receiver ran a half decent route, maybe that ball would have been, at least incompleted or caught. But like, goodness gracious, that was just a horrible route. Listen, nobody's getting open. Jalen Waddle is maybe going to be 65%. The question is he going to be out there and he's going to serve as a decoy? And after you see him run, if I'm the Kansas City Chiefs, I'm like, that's your decoy? Go on ahead. I'm not changing how I'm defending you. But the problem is everybody's defending them. So extra attention, press everything. No fear of beating you over the top. And that's clearly an issue that the Dolphins have to address this offseason.
This feels still on like it's going to be a game, though, anyway. Like you're going to go probably with wind this crazy. I don't know how much the passing game is going to be a factor in this one anyway. But where are your concern levels with Waddle in this one?
Yeah, I mean, now that Omar, because
you look very concerned now because Omar has made you very concerned.
When I say I've been covering sports for probably since 1997. I've never seen anything like that from a practice before. And I get it. He was trying to gut through it, but man, you look like you're going through it.
My concern level doesn't change by hearing that. I mean, I don't love it. I want Waddle out there. Also, Tyreek's comments don't bother me because I bet if you ask Jalen Waddle, right, like,
yeah,
how do you feel about it? He's going to tell you, listen, man, it's the playoffs. I got to be out there. I mean, that's their mentality. So, I don't think that the passing game is going to win this game for Miami. And the same goes for Kansas City. I have bets in right now on the Hard Rock Bet app. Full disclosure, under Patrick Mahomes passing yards, under Patrick Mahomes passing attempts. But with that being said, I do think, as I told you guys earlier, there is going to come a point in this game where Tua's going to have to make some plays to give the Dolphins a chance to win. That doesn't mean game-winning drive, it's going to come down to Tua's arm again. I just think at some point, you're going to need Tyreek Hill to make some plays, and it's going to be because of Tua setting him up. And I was hoping you'd have Waddle out there at least 75, 80%, just for the sake of, hey, you have those two weapons. You're going into a game here that could salvage your season, and there's already all these injuries on the defensive side and on the offensive side. You at least want to fall back on, hey, our two best weapons are healthy, right? And if that's not the case, I mean, how can you feel confident about the passing game once again? Because, yeah, I mean, we saw what happens when it's Chase Claypool running routes, and I don't want to be in that situation again.
I think you're going to have to lean on River Craycraft, sir.
Oh.
And I don't
know what that means, Tobin. Go ahead, buddy. Open it up. Tell me.
Yeah.
Tell me. I'm ready to throw Hard Rock $5 right now. Tell me.
What do we got here, dude? Let's look at this.
Listen, at this point, and I get it. Preston Wilson, he's doing his thing.
Cedric Wilson?
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Love Preston Wilson, though.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
30-30 with the Marlins.
Cedric Wilson. What was the other Preston?
We had Preston Williams.
Preston Williams. Okay, there were a lot of bum receivers.
I was ready to throw him the bag though after like 2 games. Remember he had two really good games.
He had a great camp.
Yeah.
Just didn't materialize. But that comes down to a maturity. The junior. Which one is
Cedric
he?
Wilson?
There you go, that guy. That's how he's but if that's your primary weapon, you're in trouble.
Hey,
You're really in trouble.
Hey, Tobin. Omar sounds like he's ready for a trip to Cancun. I don't know about you, but he sounds like he's ready for this season to be done.
Sorry, I was busy.
No,
I was putting in $5 on River Craycraft plus 1,500 anytime. Let's go.
You did the anytime? What's the over-under on catches?
Ooh, good question. I'll find that out during the break. Game Day Uncensored. We're back after this.
WQAM broadcasting live from the
Uncensored here. 560 WQAM. Right now, we are watching a hell of a game going on right now between the Browns and Texans. Joe Flacco leading the way. A little pitch to Kareem Hunt puts the Browns back on top, 14-10. And just a really, really fun quarter and a half in this start to the wild card weekend.
How do you feel about me rooting for Joe Flacco, Tobin? Because, look, I hate Cleveland. I mean, I hate the Cavaliers. I hate the Browns. There's not a single thing.
What is the source of your Cleveland hate?
I hate the Guardians. Oh, it's just a miserable city. Seriously, just a
I
bunch of
I actually enjoy that city.
I have a hard time hating the Browns because of my co-host. He loves Cleveland very much, Leroy. And the Browns fans are very nice to him.
That's fair.
And we have Bernie Kosar on a lot, and, you know, he's very positive with the Browns, too. So
but
it's very hard for me to – by the way, Bernie Kosar is very in on Tua. He loves Tua.
Yeah.
You know, but he said he better not wear gloves. He's like, I don't
Really?
Better not wear gloves.
Why?
Because he's just like, you don't do it. You don't wear gloves. You don't wear gloves. He's old school. He goes, hot pockets in your hand? Fine. I don't mind. No gloves. No gloves.
I disagree.
He's a Youngstown guy, though, you know?
Okay. All right, cool. He's used to throwing. I mean, he's also got a ridiculous arm.
But Tua said he's not wearing gloves.
Yes, he did. I'm not saying that it's the right decision. I'm not a cold weather expert, but there is such a thing as frostbite, as you've introduced to us.
Mm-hmm.
And you hear a lot of players say you're gonna lose feeling in your fingers. So why not wear gloves?
Because he's got a kangaroo pouch.
Okay. All right, cool.
With warmers in him. He'll be fine. He's gonna be fine, guys.
You said that last week, and then you got your face kicked in.
I did say that last week.
But
you want to know something?
Overconfident guy, overconfident Heat fan.
Mm-hmm.
You were absolutely just convinced that this
2
is
weeks
their
in
time.
a row.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
What am I supposed to be? Scared? Is that how I'm supposed to go through life, Omar? Turtled up?
A realist?
I'm a realist. I understand. Like, I'm telling you right now, if this was a normal game, I wouldn't feel great about it because of the way they're playing in their injury situation. Because it is a wacky game, I'm like,
Okay.
all right, weird stuff can happen.
You're right.
And the Chiefs haven't been like impressive.
Let's just say this, and I will acknowledge your statement. If I could handpick an opponent, it would probably be the Steelers, and then my second choice
Would be the Chiefs.
would be the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And just because your matchups play well into their matchups,
It's weird, right?
they struggle stopping the run. You actually run the ball well. They have no receivers. You have no secondary.
Yep.
Like we've talked about weather kind of being a deciding factor for both teams. Like it could take out a lot of what each team wants to do, passing the ball, whatever.
Mhm.
What about the idea that the Dolphins on the road aren't great? And Omar, you've told us this because there's so much communication and you know the noise,
I
the
see where you're going
atmosphere
here.
can, you know, obviously take the Dolphins out of, you know, their packages and confusion.
Yes, it messes
so on
up
and so
the
forth.
the
Right.
rhythm of the offense because of the motions.
Correct. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I saw they're allowing blankets in. If I'm sitting in 10-degree weather, negative 10-degree weather, and I've got a blanket on me, I'm not standing up to cheer. I'm not yelling. I'm doing everything I can to preserve body heat.
But even if you are, you got a lot of people are going to be wearing ski masks. It's going to muffle you. It's
So-
not gonna be the same. You know? Like,
does that play into the Dolphins' favor?
I said earlier,
it's
I see where
different.
you're going here.
You see?
Yeah, it's
It's going to be dead. And I expect the stadium to be half empty. I don't know about you guys. That's what I just expect it because I think it's easy. On Ticketmaster, you guys have seen it. Oh my God. Did he take that back?
yeah.
Wow. This game is insane. Insane.
Jesus.
17-14. I'm telling you, that's more points in a half
No,
of football.
20. Okay, 17-14. You're right.
Then we'll see in the Dolphins Chiefs games. But Omar, like this could play into the Dolphins' favor, right? Just the fact that environment is probably going to be dead.
But you know what the neutralizer is? I do like where you guys are coming in terms of the optimism. And
I'm not optimistic at all. Hold on a second. I told you guys last week going into the game, it's why Tobin and I were, you know, we were disagreeing.
We were
I said,
fighting.
You had a
I
mild
know-
beef.
Yeah.
That was Brevin Jordan, by the way, for the Canes fans.
Oh, let's go. Let's go. I told you, I know how this game ends. I wanted to see Tua win a clutch game, and he didn't.
153.
And I know how
153.
this season ends. It's a loss to Buffalo and then a loss in Kansas City. So I'm sticking to my guns. I still have zero faith this team is going to win, but I do think there's an argument to be made that the conditions allow for a Dolphins victory.
Mhm.
And I also think the
That's
fact
fair.
that the stadium is going to be pretty much quiet for the most part
The thing
helps
that's
them too.
The thing that's just disappointing me with the Dolphins, and this is not just a Tua thing, this is a Mike McDaniel thing, is I just feel like as electric as this offense was the first half of the season, where they seem like the greatest show on surf and
Mhm.
next coming of the Rams, they just haven't struck fear. Like every game is 17 points now. They're settling for a ton
Yeah.
of field goals. This used to be
You do realize
they
that
got
they're
in the red
facing
zone. They got in the red
adverse
zone.
situations and circumstances in the final month of the season. You do realize that, right?
I get it, but there have been plenty of drives where they have been driving well and things have sputtered out on them. And when they got in the red zone early on in the season, it was nearly automatic. And I do feel like there's been a case where Mike McDaniel, it's taken a little bit too long for him to get to adjustments and counter punches and all that type of stuff. And he's a young coach. I get it. But that's the thing is he had a lot of those issues late last year too. So I don't know if that's people figuring him out. I don't know if that's him getting in his own head or what, but that is the thing that's concerned me more than anything, because look, we can talk about the Dolphins are going into this. They're facing a lot of adversity with the injuries, and that's true, but they were very banged up last week, and that defense played nails.
Yeah.
They gave up a lot of yards, but they showed up with clutch play after clutch play, fourth down stops, big turnovers. And the offense just couldn't support them. That was what was so
they haven't
disappointing.
been able to support them for probably a full month.
They gave up a lot of yards because they're on the field the whole game.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you gentlemen a question. Name me the receiver outside of Tyreek Hill who's getting extra attention that's getting open.
Nobody.
Okay. The conversation is over then.
Nobody.
And they've leaned heavily on the run game. Last week, the game plan, I looked at that game plan and I said, this is not the ideal game plan for the Buffalo Bills. But what it is the ideal game plan for you to get yourself ready for the playoffs, because all that pistol, all that I formation, all that running, running plays, that's how you need to win. That's how you need to play in the playoffs. And I felt like they're working on it. They're dusting it off. They're trying to take it to another level, and that the investment that they made against the Bills could potentially benefit them against the Chiefs. I watched that Chiefs game that they played earlier this season, and you know what? The one consistent thing that I took away from that game was
what?
Dolphins can run the ball on the Chiefs.
Yeah,
and run it with relative ease.
But here's my thing, and I thought we saw it in the second half, where a lot of people talk about why didn't the Dolphins run the ball? Why did McDaniel get away from the run game? And I think if you break down each possession for the Dolphins, you could see like half the time it's 1st and 15, 2nd and 20. Well, it's hard to run the ball and whatever. But I will say, Omar, the Bills, they came out at halftime and they said, you know what? We're going to make Tua beat us. They gambled. They said, we're going to drop one safety. We're going to play one safety up top, and we're going to blitz. We're going to put pressure up front. We're not going to let Achane beat us in this second half. It's going to have to be Tua Tagovailoa. That's a massive gamble at Hard Rock Stadium, where Tua's been really good despite the injuries.
Yeah.
And guess what?
Good with Waddle.
It worked.
Yeah.
It worked. So today, while we could say, hey, you run the ball, that's how you're going to win this game. If KC stacks their defensive front and they have 8 guys in the box, 7 guys in the box every single time, I mean, it's going to be what we saw in the second half, which is Achane gets a pitch, he loses 4 yards.
Not necessarily.
Now it's 2nd and 15.
I think it could also be Raheem or Devon break a tackle early, their second level blockers, and then it's wide open, because obviously the track is going to be hard. I think it's going to be hard. It should be frozen. That makes it hard. And so you're going to have to wear different kind of spikes. And when you wear those kind of spikes, I don't know if you guys remember the playoff game in
Pittsburgh.
2006. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you were there. Wasn't that where we met?
Yeah.
Isn't that where we met? Like
we met. We
met. Yeah, we met at a Kanye concert.
Omar and I met at a Kanye concert, but I was just I was like a sophomore in high school. Nah, I mean, he pretends like he remembers, but we did.
I know, I do remember. Don't do me like that. That was the best concert of my life. Are you crazy? You were there.
Tobin. Yeah, I was sitting in the row.
He was sitting in the row right in front
and
of
I look back, I'm like, oh yeah, that's Omar. And me and my boys were massive Dolphins fans. We follow Omar on Twitter. But I got hired.
That's like my first wife. Like we go back. We go back to my first wife.
I got
That's how,
hired,
how long I know. How long I know I've known you.
I got hired by WQAM on like the day I graduated from FIU, like late December, but I wasn't starting until the second week of January. And the first week of January, Dolphins are playing Pittsburgh. Me and Omar on the same flight, and we get off on the airport. I'm like, "Hey, Omar Kelly, what's up? I work with WQM, even though I'm a phony. I didn't yet, but I took a picture with Omar. But yeah, that game going. Sorry for I derailed the show there.
That's the Spikegate game.
Correct.
And I'll tell you the inner workings of that. So the equipment manager basically tells the players these are the right spikes. They give them the number. The spikes are numbered. These are the right spikes that you need to wear for this field because of the conditions. The field was frozen. It was a super cold game. The players put on the spikes. They warmed up with the spikes. They didn't necessarily like the spikes, but they were following the advice of the equipment manager. They get out there for the first quarter of the game. Antonio Brown is running circles around them because he's Antonio Brown, and they literally can't change directions because their spikes are like wedged into the field.
Jeez.
And so the whole defense has to change their spikes. And so they're literally changing their spikes on the sidelines
like
during the game. Yeah, that was where I think Pittsburgh started the game scoring 14 points in the first 8
Antonio
minutes.
Brown 72-yard touchdown reception.
Hey,
Very next play.
Can I ask you a question though?
Yeah.
Is it the same equipment manager?
Yeah, it is. I mean, but
who's getting a ton of love on our now?
Joe Tremino is phenomenal. No. He made a mistake. Okay.
Let me tell you something.
People make mistakes.
This is his Super Bowl today.
Bum
Okay,
Tremino.
We are not going to have Joe Tremino slander up in here.
I'm not slandering anybody.
Joe Tremino's been doing 30 years with the Dolphins. He made a bad call on spikes in a playoff game.
Oh, he's got the walkie-talkies working during training camp, huh? Wow.
You think there's somebody you think like he's there late one night, he's like making some shoes.
You don't think Joe Tremino has nightmares and memory and haunts himself? He lashes himself with a belt over Spikegate, and now you guys want to hold it against him. He's gonna make sure that he doesn't make the same mistake for Kansas City.
He's got an extra flip card.
Somewhere where she like the ghost of Rashad Jones is like, don't do it again, Joe. Back after this.
Hey,
Live on the free Odyssey app.
Sponsored by South Florida Lexus dealers, Tito's Handmade Vodka, Edmore Sawgrass Cadillac, JM Lexus, and Williamson Automotive.
.560 WQAM. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. This is a really fun wild card game going on right now between the Texans and the Browns. CJ Stroud missed Nico Collins. Nico Collins barely for a bombski. But they right now lead 17-14 in what has been a really fun game. Now Joe Flacco's got the ball back. I mean, this is just basically bomb after bomb. It's so much fun, this game. I don't know if we're going to get this because this is in a dome. I don't think we're going to get this in the upcoming Ice Bowl Part 2
I'm
in
sorry,
Kansas City.
but they should be playing playoff games in domes. This is ridiculous.
Are you salty like the rest of the Dolphin fan, Omar, that sees the Bills game gets postponed because of some snow?
Yes, I was. I just feel like football in January in these frigid environments, just torture. Just I mean, look at this. The stadium will be empty in a playoff game only because fans don't want to sit in these conditions. Like, you should have just said from the beginning of the week, hey, Kansas City fans, this game is going to be moving to Indianapolis. If you have season tickets, you have access to the game, and hopefully you'll travel. And Vlad is waving his hand. No, Vlad is waving his finger, giving me the Matumbo. Why are you giving me the Matumbo?
Why are you giving the Matumbo, Vlad?
It's called home field advantage. Okay. Would you like it if somebody said, oh my God, it's 120 degrees in January, we shouldn't play this game in Miami? No, you wouldn't.
You'd certainly hear it from the Bills fans.
Oh, they don't want to play in any weather.
They don't. Yeah. So no, that's why it's called home field advantage.
But I mean, come on, you shouldn't be putting people. These guys are going to lose fingers.
There's no advantage.
Losing a finger.
There's no advantage.
Nobody is going to be more like. I looked at the precautions for the fans of this game. Like, Kansas City's like local news would put out, here are what we have for the fans. Number one was area warmers. I was like, oh, that's nice. Number two was hot chocolate, but it was hot chocolate for sale.
Right.
You don't get it for free. If they were giving away,
it was for sale.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Say stuff that you sell, and that's a precaution for the fans. $9 hot chocolate.
Next, you're gonna give me like chicken soup for sale. Like, what are we doing here?
There was like a
Hot
caveat.
broth?
There was a caveat where they're like, if you can prove you're the designated driver of
you
your
get some
group,
free hot chocolate.
come stand. You'll get one voucher for one free hot chocolate. But it's like, oh, I have to stand in a line now.
Everybody's the designated
they're
driver.
gonna have one kiosk.
How do I prove that I'm the designated driver for the group?
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's going to be one kiosk in the stadium.
I gotta
Everybody wants to go get that one free hot chocolate.
I
Now
gotta
you have
show
to
you my
stand.
keys.
Now you have to stand in a 2-hour line
Yeah, what do you do? You
to
like,
get your voucher.
You get a breathalyzer.
That's a good
hot,
point.
you get a free hot chocolate, sir.
Also,
Congratulations.
what is this? The Santa Claus movie? Hot cocoa's keeping you warm in the North Pole. I mean, one little thing of hot chocolate isn't keeping you warm in negative
I'm
20
saying,
degree weather.
If they got to give you a if they got to tell you, hey, you can bring your blanket into the stadium, you shouldn't be playing in that stadium.
But the players are going to be like, they got heaters and equipment and snuggies and everything that they need. They're going to be okay. I mean, like, look, it's their choice that they want to look tough and not have sleeves out there.
I've got the over on 2 amputations after this game.
Let us get to Fantasy Watch, brought to us by Tito's Handmade Vodka. Tito's Handmade Vodka on game day. Pour me in, coach. Find cocktail recipes for every fan at Tito'sVodka.com. Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof. Crafted to be savored responsibly. Solana, been looking at some of these props today. What do you like in this? What do you like in this game tonight? What's your whistle on the old Hard Rock app today?
Yeah, so I told you guys, I think clock management, time management in this game is going to be huge. So either team jumps out to a lead, and I think they're going to want to try to take a slow pace, try to kill clock, and try to just run the ball. So I like Mahomes and Tua unders today. Passing attempts, passing yards, and it's not an indictment on Tua. I'm not hating on Tua. I'm not saying he can't throw the ball. That's a different discussion. I'm just saying as a whole this game, and they're low, by the way. Like,
Their over-unders are not very high. Tua
Right.
is 230.5 yards, and Mahomes is 244.5.
Correct. But again, this is, to me, just has to do with playing conditions. And I think the teams are going to try to run the ball, and I think the teams are going to try their best to just waste time today. So that's my take on the game, Tobin. I don't know how you and Omar feel about it, but
They got Achan's over-under set at 42.5 rushing yards.
Ooh, take it. Wait a minute, 42.5? Let me hold on. Yeah, let me
Come on, dude. What are we doing here? Man, I'm telling you, this is but there's part of me, like, as a fan, I'm excited to see this. I want to see what this is going to look like. I want to see the freak show.
For sure.
You
Sure.
know?
I want to watch the pregame shows. Like, I want to see, I want to see Mike Cunha on CBS 4 on the sideline doing a stand-up in like the largest mink coat you could ever imagine.
I want to see what Mike McDaniel's going to work the game. That's what I want to see. Is he arrived yet? You think he's arrived yet?
Oh, we got to look.
He has.
He has?
He has arrived.
What's he
And
wearing?
He's looking. He's looking chic. He's looking very chic.
I saw some Adidas gear that Adidas apparently sent Tua.
Oh, I'm looking at Tua walking in right now.
Yeah, there's the gear. I was like, that Adidas jacket was fire. Like, Adidas, hook your boy up.
Your boy McDaniel's coming looking real nice, real smooth.
Yeah,
very European.
Oh
fashion model.
I let me see the European fashion model, but that too, I knew that Tua jacket was not gonna be beaten.
Here's the Mike McDaniel right here. We got him arriving. I think it's the same one that he had for the other cold game.
Oh yeah. He wore that to New York.
McDaniel's reusing outfits.
Exactly.
New bag though.
Wait a minute. You can't be reusing outfits, bro.
He's got some new shoes with it though.
No. I've seen those shoes.
You've seen those shoes?
Yeah, those are Louis Vuitton.
Oh, that's what he wore in New York.
Yeah.
Solana?
Tell you what, I can't see Omar. Can't see his ankles.
It's ashy, probably.
Listen, that's I like the jacket. I do like the jacket, but that is a recycled outfit. So
in
that
fairness,
we're going to have to disqualify Mike McDaniel.
If you're a South Floridian, how many jackets you got?
That is a very good point.
How many jackets you got? Like I have 2 hoodies. That's it. This one and a Manny Pacquiao one. That's it.
Yeah. Oh, T said looking good, all black with the leather. I mean, he doesn't look like he's appropriately dressed for the weather, though.
Well, don't forget. I mean, these guys.
Yeah.
They literally walk out from the hotel into a bus, sit in a bus that's been on for 5 hours before you even wake up. So it's just properly not air conditioned, but heated. Well, heat conditioned. I don't know.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be great though? Like,
and then they get off inside the tunnel of the stadium, so they're not outside exposed to these to the -2 degree
I don't
weather.
think that is the same jacket that he's got on. It looks like it's all sheepskin.
I'm sorry. No, it was sheepskin. Trust me. Me and Solana, we pay attention to these things.
A little
broke. It was sheepskin.
I can tell you the exact game, bro. I can tell you the exact game.
Oh, we got an update from Dave Hyde.
What's that?
It's -2 now. It's gone from -1 to -2.
I care more about the feel like weather. Feel like, I need to know the feel like.
I noticed McDaniel's wearing baggy jeans.
Dude, is he?
No, they're
dude, you want
like
to
slim fit? Slim fit.
It's not a regular fit. This ain't slim fit.
No,
if he's wearing slim fit, it would be part of his skin
right,
in that cold.
Okay, no, these are. Come on, he's already skinny, so these are slim fit. Trust me.
You got Salt and Pepper arriving, and
neither one of them have good fashion sense.
Well, here's the thing though, Zach Sealer. He looks like he's about to go ice road trucking. Like he doesn't care.
Yeah,
that dude's not affected by the cold at all.
He looks like he's gonna stop at a Wawa, buy a box of jerky and some chewing tobacco.
That dude is gonna be like I'm telling you, he's doing ice angels by the end of this game. He don't care. He's like, -2. I'm Zach Sealer, dude.
Yeah, no, he said I played with this. I played at Flair State, man. He said I went to a lower level school. We didn't have heaters. We
middle of nowhere, Michigan.
Yeah.
Get out of here. He's fine.
Yeah, but that Tua fit. I'm gonna have.
I like it.
Yeah, no, I saw it in his locker because Adidas sent him a big. Because I'm always like, bro, you're sponsored by Adidas. Like, you should be able to order some new stuff and have them. You're Tua Tagovailoa, and I've said this to his people. and there was a new shipment of boxes. Like they got him right for the game.
Whatever you
Okay,
need, Mr.
It's
Tagovailoa.
yeah, he's Tua Tagovailoa.
Like
Like
he's Adidas and
leading passer.
what's
Perry Ellis.
Perry Ellis. That's
Yeah,
right.
I still haven't seen a Perry Ellis fit. I keep bringing it up to him.
Haven't said his
Perry
swag pack.
Ellis.
Yeah,
Oh my God! All right, that's something right there. That
we did fashion for 10 minutes here.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to let's just keep it football. Here's Tyreek Hill earlier in the week. He says Travis Kelce is not texting him back ever since he started dating Taylor Swift. The cheetah is very hurt feelings by this. Here he is after practice this week.
Well, I haven't texted Mahomes since they beat our ass. And I text Kelsey. He still hasn't texted me back. He's probably still on this Taylor Swift thing. But yeah, man. Those guys are too famous for me now, I guess. But yeah. There hasn't been no trash talk. But obviously when we get there face to face, I'm gonna be talking about trash. So really looking forward to it.
I do need a cheetah peace sign in Arrowhead. Just like I need that injected into my veins for this game. Like he needs the revenge touch, especially the way the other Chiefs game went. I know the stakes aren't the same, but he had that terrible fumble. Had to feel awful for him. And he needs that get back, Omar. He needs that get back moment against the Chiefs.
I think he just needs a healthy game and needs to feel like himself. I'm not stressing about, and he seemingly isn't stressing about his return to Arrowhead. He knows what time it is. And this is their think about what happens to this Dolphins team if they do just so happen to upset the Super Bowl champions. They shock the world. And it's possible. Now, is it likely? No, but it's possible.
I was surprised that the line was as close as it was this week. When after the Dolphins lost to the way the Bills, I was expecting this to be like a 7.5 point line.
I think it's the weather though, right?
No, because it was close early in the week. It was like 3.5.
I think it was down. I think it was down to 2.5.
Yeah, it was a close line all week, and I was really surprised by that. Now I get it. The Chiefs have not looked good, and they've not really looked like themselves all year. The offense has not been humming. You've seen Mahomes have the freak out this year on the officials. Everybody called him a sore loser. It's not been a smooth ride, but they have the pedigree. Like there is something to that, I think, and you can't deny that there is. They've got the whole okay, now you all are writing us off. It's an interesting matchup because it kind of feels like two teams that obviously get a lot of coverage, that want that reset, that want to really put the especially the end of the regular season behind them. And if they get the win, I think you're going to have both of them feeling a little bit froggy going into their next round. So can't wait for this one, man. We're getting to our final hour of Game Day Uncensored coming on up. Back after this.
Game Day Uncensored on AM 560. It's going to be another ice bowl. Tonight, the Dolphins are in Kansas City, where the weather ain't pretty. The game might not be either. The Finns have some major injuries to deal with. Plus, Patrick Mahomes and more than 75,000 screaming fans who will make their voices heard. And cold is also the sting the Dolphins felt last week after losing to Buffalo, losing a home playoff game in the process. Yeah, that happened. But Coach Mike McDaniel says it's now a clean slate.
Here's the thing about the NFL playoffs is as much weight as all the things that happen during the season carry. There's narratives galore that grow out of results. And the playoffs, it doesn't matter. It's a reset.
And as for the cold,
when you're playing football in colder weather than you'd hang out in, then it can be one of two things. It can be an excuse or it can be something that galvanizes a team because you're going through it together.
the Dolphins lost to the Chiefs by a touchdown back in Week 9. A learning experience, says Christian Wilkins.
I just remembered, we were able to make some adjustments, kind of see how they were attacking us early. It's kind of just pretty standard throughout the course of a game. But they're a very good football team. They have a very good offense. So we'll have to bring it.
And Tua? Well, Tua knows what's been said this week. He knows about the obstacles. And he knows what has to happen.
I think the guys are excited that we still have another opportunity and we're not necessarily leaving the building with a bad taste in our mouth from the last game. But it's just another opportunity for us to hopefully do what we said we wanted to do all along.
Playoff football on Saturday night. The Dolphins getting ready to meet the Chiefs. It's time to figure this one out on Gameday Uncensored, the pregame show for real Miami football fans on AM 560 Sports, WQAM, FM 99.9 HD2, and always live on the free Odyssey app.
Gameday Uncensored is sponsored by South Florida Lexus Dealers. Experience amazing by Tito's Handmade Vodka. Tito's Handmade Vodka on Gameday. Pour me in, Coach. Ed Morse Sawgrass Buick GMC is a proud partner of the Miami Dolphins. Remember, you're always backed by Morse. By JM Lexus. At JM Lexus, you'll always get the home team advantage. By Kendall Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Start the new year in a new ride with no payments for 90 days.
All right. Final hour of Game Day Uncensored here, 5-6 WKM. We're streaming live on YouTube and Twitch. You guys can watch us, join in on the comments. Miami 560 WQAM, that is the channel. Go subscribe over there. You guys could watch us live or on Twitch. If you guys are Twitchers out there. Shout out to everybody who is joining us right now. If you guys are tuning in, Wild Card Weekend is underway. Really good game between the Texans and Browns, but the Texans are starting to take a grip on this game. 24-14 at the half. CJ Stroud is quite simply lighting it up. 11-16, 236 yards, 3 touchdowns in this game. Former King Brevin Jordan, he has a 76-yard touchdown in this game. Dalton Schultz just caught a 37-yard touchdown before halftime. So, man, Texans could be a Dolphins opponent if things break their way. If you have a Steelers win, a Dolphins win, the Steelers could end up taking on Houston. One step at a time. Task at hand, of course. Task at hand. Dolphins got to get through the Chiefs and a record chill this week. Mike McDaniel, this was him earlier in the week. For those who say that the Dolphins have no chance, this was Mike McDaniel's message to all the doubters and the haters and the bums out there and what they had to say on that. So Mike McDaniel is, I'm sure, got faith in his team.
I think this particular team, the noise, I anticipate will be loud enough and poignant enough that I won't necessarily have to bring it up. I will say that this team, in my opinion, they set their expectations and standards for what they wanted to do way before people said they could do it. There's a lot of people littered on the team that have been outrightly told that they can't. I don't see that as surprising that would be said, nor do I worry about it. I think it's something that the individual players across the board in the locker room, our locker room is littered with people that have found success in the face of people saying they can't. So, people say we can't until we do.
Omar, I'm curious for this. We talked about this a lot. We talked about this when we starting the podcast. This was our first segment about what would be considered a successful season.
Ooh.
If they lose today, it's not, because they put themselves in this position. But is just getting this win, doing something they haven't done in 23 years, first playoff win since 2000. If they do this, would you consider the season a success?
I would consider the season a success as long as they don't get blown out today. And I know I'm lowering the bar a little bit. However, you got to be reasonable and logical. When was the last time you went into a playoff game, if not every game, any game, where you lost all but one of your defense outside linebackers and edge rushers? Tell me the time. Tell me the time it's ever happened.
I can't, because Fang said he has never. If Fangs haven't seen it,
like, you're going into this game probably, and we'll find out a little bit later at 6:30 when the inactives come out. But based on what I've seen and what I've heard and all I've suspected, Javon Holland and Deshaun Elliott are not playing today. And even if they did play today, they can barely move. And that's a recipe for disaster against Patrick Mahomes. I already told you, and I said this last week, season over without Xavier Howard. Done. Finished. Finito.
Yeah.
You're not winning anything with Eli Apple and Kader Kohu. And I'm not excusing anything on the defensive injuries, because realistically, the defense put you in position to win that game last week. So even with all that they were enduring and going through, hell, Melvin Ingram, who's is the Geritol crew, or as Tua calls them, the OGs, that man played 58 snaps last week. He had no business playing 20, but he played 58.
He got caught in coverage. It was like, oh, that's
not fair. Out of necessity.
Poor guy.
It's so. And if you can't sit there and say, as a Dolphin fan, all four of our offensive weapons, from Tyreek, Tyreek's out there, but can you realistically say to yourself, you're looking at 70% Tyreek? Or is it, can you put that in perspective? Does Tyreek look like he's the most feared man in the NFL right now?
He hasn't. I mean, to be fair, he's had some, and I don't know if this is a compensation for the injury. Man, he's had some big drops.
Yes, he has. He addressed them this week.
He's had some killer drops, Omar.
Yes, he has.
And I don't know what that is, but he's the cheetah. You get in those moments.
Highest paid wide receiver in the NFL.
You can't. The thing with it is
probably going to shake down the team for another contract extension.
Whatever he wants.
Yeah, exactly. Which is exactly when you're in position to shake down the team for a new contract extension. When your fan base says whatever you want, sir. And it'll help.
I'll go fix the roof, the hole in his roof, whatever he needs.
Oh, he says the house is scrapped.
He needs a whole new house. But it's easier to say that when you can just be like, all right, we'll just buy another house.
Right? Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I never thought about that.
No,
we'll just buy another house while we renovate this house.
Right. Like, oh yeah, house is donezo. It's just easier. Like,
he's gonna give the house to the guy who got fired from the NFL for the phone.
The kid.
Yeah, he goes, hey, you fix it up. It's a real fixer-upper.
Omar, going back to, is this season a disappointment? Omar, I don't disagree with what you're saying, because I think it's unfair to not bring in the injury context. I really do.
I mean, people want them to work a miracle today. Is that what they want?
Yeah, but to me, the disappointment begins prior to this loss.
Okay, that's fair.
That's where it begins, because
Tennessee, you're holding it against them at Tennessee.
But even beyond that, but yes, Tennessee definitely derails the season, and the way that, I mean, it's a catastrophic loss.
It was
epic collapse.
For the Bills, but the Bills too.
No, but I'm saying it begins before this game. It goes back to Tennessee. But when I tell you that the Miami Dolphins finished 16.5 points per game offensively against teams with a winning record, that to me is a disappointment.
Yes.
The fact that they didn't beat a winning team is one thing. The fact that their offense
they beat
came
Dallas. Don't be disrespectful.
Jason Sanders beat Dallas. The fact that they didn't beat a winning team other than Dallas. The fact that they didn't beat a winning team other than Dallas, other than the Cowboys, to me is a disappointment. And the fact that they got into a position prior to all the injuries, I know some of them JP and whatever, but prior to all the injuries, they got into a position where they needed to beat Buffalo at home now in the final week of the season, banged up, and blew the second half the way that they did. If they don't win a playoff game to salvage that, then to me it is a disappointment, because I know going back to the start of the regular season, when we started Game Day Uncensored, you told us expectation should be one playoff win. And me and Tobin were here pumping our chests saying, no,
Super Bowl,
AFC title.
I said get to the AFC
right.
Championship.
And I agree, 2 playoff wins,
which
with
I stand by.
With the amount of money that was allocated into the roster build. And I think, we don't have enough time for it, but going back to the tank in 2018, this is year 5
this is
of that rebuild.
What you're doing it for.
If by now you haven't won a playoff game, then there should be a broader conversation about, was the tank successful? Did Chris Greer get it right? I don't want to do that now.
But none of these circumstances and injuries and issues play into your feelings about the season. I mean,
absolutely. But when I bring it down to a smaller level, just talking about, hey, today's game, the weather, the fact that you got guys with AARP cards starting for you today, like, all that matters. But in the broad picture, I mean, it doesn't.
The Dolphins have had really tough positions in the playoffs, even in the mere times that they've made the playoffs, where it's been like Matt Moore's had to start. Last year, Skyler had to start. Now it's half the defense. That's why people think there is a curse on this team. Like, it is hard to swallow a lot of this stuff.
They are built on Indian Burial Ground.
It's tough. It's tough to fight, Omar. Like, it just seems like it happens. But
I grew up around there. I know it's an Indian Burial
Ground. For me, I always look at it like this: the expectations don't change. Like, if you are sitting here and you're gonna just categorize the season, this Dolphins team, if they get bounced, or even if they just got a playoff win, it's a nice tip of the cap. It's a great air freshener on what was just a terrible end of the season. It
wasn't as bad as last year's end of the season.
It wasn't.
This was
but that
bad.
was easier to stomach because you didn't have Tua. Like, that was the explanation last year.
Yeah, but now you have Tua and nobody else. Like, okay, hold on.
It's a tougher sell. You know how it is. Like, it's a tougher sell in the fan base. If you have your 2 MVP candidates out there, banged up, not banged up, less people are going to want to hear it. Like, no Jets fan wants to hear about this. They didn't have Aaron Rodgers all year.
Omar, you're in this position. Like, that to me is the conversation. It's not, hey, you lost this game, season's a failure. To me, hey, you're in this situation and you lose this game when you had a 3-game lead on the division. That to me is where the conversation should be had. And that to me is why the season ends up being a failure, because I'm with you. When you look at just this game and the context going only into this game, it is an insane ask. Hey, go win this game without Bradley Chubb, without Xavier Howard, without Deshaun Elliott, without Javon Holland, without JP. Like, it's a crazy ask. But why are they in this position? Because they disappointed the last stretch of the season, and the games that they needed to win, that they absolutely needed their offense to perform at the level that everybody talked about this offense being able to perform at, they fell short in a massive way, and they blew a 14-point lead in 3.5 minutes. The only team in 700-plus tries to ever do it in the history of the league. Like, that to me is the conversation. Not, hey, you lost to Kansas City in negative 20-degree weather with all your guys out, but who cares? No, I'm willing to have the context for this game, but not for the situation of being in this game.
Josh Allen was begging you to take that game last week. And you said no thanks.
Yeah, he stopped him at the fourth down.
No thanks. He's like, please, you guys, here you go. Here you go. Another interception. Whee! Nope, no thanks, Josh. Keep kicking our ass. It's fine. We're good.
I mean, the Dolphins literally should have been down 20-0 in that game. They should have been down 20-0, 21-0, and they weren't. At a lead at halftime. And then you got 47 yards of offense in the biggest half of McDaniel's career and Tua's career.
It's just gonna be tough. Look, it's one of these tough things. If we're gonna go into this and you're still not gonna play, even if it's just one playoff win, you're gonna have to give Tua a boatload of money, and that's the fact. You're gonna give him a boatload of money, and he deserves it. Like, he stayed healthy. He was a lead passer. But
does today matter to you?
Yeah,
because we talked about this on Hockey
Can't
Crowder.
put a stink bomb.
Is today a must win for Tua? Not in the sense that the Dolphins are going to move on, because I don't think anybody believes
it's not like they're going to move on. Like, is it?
But contract wise,
this is the one. See, it's not this one that matters. It's like, I'm going to go back to the Bills game, and I'm going to go back to Monday Night Football, and I'm going to go to the like, because I don't know how many quarterbacks can you figure are going to look at what their over unders are for passing. Like, not even Mahomes is at 240. Like, neither one of them. But are there going to be moments? If he has moments, and like, let's just say what the context of the game is, and it looks like he has opportunities and those opportunities are blown, yeah, of course, that's going to be added to the score of it.
But if you're Tua, if I'm Tua Tagovailoa, right, and I win this game, whether I win it or Mostert wins it, whatever, you win this playoff game, first time in 23 years in franchise history, that's a heck of a bargaining chip when you go sit at a table across from Chris Greer and your agent, is it not?
Not as good as the bargaining chip would have been if you were the MVP of the league, which you squandered that opportunity.
touche.
As well. Yeah. I hate this it's funny because I was telling you guys about something I said on Twitter that just absolutely blew up.
Yeah, stop talking about this guy's money.
I
saw that.
Yeah. Like, bro, stop talking about this man's money. He's
can't.
gonna get his money.
Can't.
You why can't you? Like, he's gonna get his money.
Because I'm thinking about the future of this team, and we talked about the window of this team.
Yeah.
And in my mind,
it does impact the window.
One or 2 years, I don't know anymore.
I don't believe in the NFL salary cap. It changes every year.
No, the salary cap isn't real, but
it's complete hocus pocus.
Once you start paying a quarterback money, it means you gotta eat ramen noodles the rest of your roster. And it's
they had that now. Look at Bruce Irvin.
No. You're not eating ramen noodles the rest of this roster. This roster is eating filet mignon right now. Next offseason, they're gonna try to push it a little bit.
No, this is like filet mignon, but it's for the Golden Corral commercial, and it's like, oh yeah, you guys thought you were gonna get that? Yeah, sorry. Let me give you a little Justin Houston. We're at like we got like a 2016 gourmet top restaurant right now. They've taken away our stars.
We're at Denny's ordering a filet mignon. We're ordering the T-bone at Denny's.
Oh, don't disrespect the T-bone at Denny's. Sometimes I wish I can take a woman to a Denny's these days.
I wish you hadn't told me that.
Take a quick break. More Game Day Uncensored after this.
Text WQAM on the Kendall Toyota text line at 305-567-0560. Toyota-thon is on at Kendall.
JM Lexus, and Williamson Automotive.
Welcome back. Game Day, Uncensored here. 560 WQAM. Streaming live on the Odyssey app, AUDACY. Download it today. Let's do us on demand there. You guys can stream us in your ears. You guys can watch the show, Miami 560 WQAM on YouTube and Twitch. It is wild card weekend. Your Miami Dolphins getting ready for an 8 o'clock kickoff, from Arrowhead, a frigid Arrowhead Stadium. If you guys are here in Dade, it'll be on NBC. If you guys are Peacock subscribers, you got that too. I have to have Peacock. I'm in Palm Beach, but I'm good. I have Peacock, so I'm good. I wasn't worried about it. Love me some Real Housewives of Salt Lake.
Anything else on Peacock?
Real Housewives of Miami.
Oh, is there really a show, Real Housewives of Miami?
Oh, what? Yeah, it's one of the OGs.
Okay, all right.
Real Housewives of New Jersey.
Who's on that though? Real Housewives of Miami.
Larsa Pippen.
Right, and then
Larsa.
but we know.
Hold
what
on, wait a
happens,
minute.
right?
Oh, you know what happens? Yeah, that's how. That's like where her fame is from.
Oh, okay.
I went to school with one of those ladies.
Did you really?
Gertie?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you love Real Housewives, Peacock is the place for you. So just so you guys know, right now it's the third quarter. We have the first postseason game going on right now. 24-14. Joe Flacco and the Browns had the ball. They got to get a score here to get in it, because if Houston gets it back, they could start sending this to a bit of a blowout. But speaking of all of the, I'm sure a guy who has Peacock, Vic Fangio, Fangs. Seems like he's got all the streaming services. Got a lot of injuries on his defense, but Vic Fangio, he says no one cares about a ton of injuries. They just want results. Here's Fangs.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot all at once, and some of it at one position in particular, outside linebacker and safety in particular. There's no woe is me in this business. Everybody looks at this as kind of Madden on PlayStation, and they all expect results. It's what they used to say in the maternity ward: "Don't tell me about the pain, just show me the baby." You can't say that anymore, but everybody's expecting a good performance from us, and we're going to do everything we can to do it.
He's like, you can't say that anymore, but I'm going to say it. That's Fangs, baby.
Classic Fangs, dude.
He's in his bag
He was.
late in the season, man.
Oh man,
Playoff Fangs. We've heard of Playoff Jimmy.
Yeah,
Playoff Fangs.
There's a new legend in town. Here he was also, of course, you got to ask in KC week, is Vic Fangio a Taylor Swift fan? And if you thought he was, you'd be wrong.
Familiar with the Taylor Swift hit "Shake It Off"?
No,
It's a good song. Shake It Off.
I listen to. My highlight of my day is driving home at night, and I listen to the 70s on 7. And I don't think Taylor Swift has any songs on there. So,
just sitting there, he's cruising, listening to music, thinking about how I'm not playing Cam Smith.
70s on 7, baby.
Man, that guy, he is something.
He is the gift that keeps on giving. I'm a little disappointed that he's not obviously a hot name in this coaching search.
Yeah, nobody wants the old guy, huh?
Yeah, nobody wants.
Unless you're
they
Belichick.
didn't want him when he became a head coach. Somebody finally, opened the door, because his underlings and understudies are getting hired before him to become a head coach. So,
ageism.
Yeah, it is ageism. But he delivered a top 10 defense. We set that as a standard for what we wanted this defense to achieve this season, and they actually delivered on it. Now, the question is, can Fangs deliver one more hit against Patrick Mahomes?
I mean, they did a good job against the Chiefs.
They did.
That was another game where the Dolphins
14 points.
Yeah,
I actually
one
watched
drive.
that game this morning, just for research for purposes, and they did a lot of 3-man rushes, and the linebacker dropped into coverage on Travis Kelce. Now, I don't know about you, but I can't do that with 35-year-old pass rushers. I'm not necessarily certain that, or Emmanuel Ogbah. I'm not necessarily, those are my options. Emmanuel Ogbah or 35-year-old pass rushers. I'm not certain that any of that approach works. So I think he has to consider Jalen Ramsey shadowing Travis Kelce. Just a guess.
Fangs is going to have to be in his bag for this one for sure. We'll probably get actives and actives on the other side, see who is in, who is out for this game. Oh man, did the Chiefs just get a pick six?
Yeah.
I mean the Texans just get a pick six?
Yep, pick six.
Wow. Well, listen, Flacco's been having a good run, but he's good for a pick a game at least.
You guys wanted to pay him big money, huh?
Someone's
You
going to
should
do it. I think someone's going to do it.
Well,
I think he's got to win.
man.
He's got to take on a couple playoffs. But it's been a cool story, nonetheless.
Yeah.
Nonetheless for Joe Flacco. But man, right now the Texans about to go up 31-14 on the Cleveland Browns as they are dominating. And you guys talked about the tank. Laramie Tunsil looks like he's en route to his first playoff win before the Dolphins are. Oh, back with more after this.
Hey.
a.m. FM 99.9 HD2 and always live on the free Odyssey app.
Sponsored by South Florida Lexus dealers, Tito's Handmade Vodka, Edmore Sawgrass Cadillac, JM Lexus, and Williamson Automotive.
All right, welcome back, everybody. It's game day, uncensored here, 560 WQAM. Going to get to our actives and actives here in just a bit if they are released, which is always brought to us by JM Lexus. When it comes to loyal fans, it's JM Lexus with a 4.8 Google rating and over 13,000 reviews. JM Lexus, West Sample Road in Margate. Get to that in just a second, but Joe Flacco has just thrown his second pick six in as many possessions. So
the ride is over.
The ride may be over, Omar. It looks like the Texans are going to waltz their way into the second round and get a playoff victory after all they've been through with the Deshaun Watson saga, the tanking, all that stuff. They are about to get their first playoff. They're about to get their playoff win here today. And Lord, they have to find that unbelievably funny if you're a petty Browns fan at the whole way that the Watson thing is gone. Even though, I know that he wanted to get the hell out of there first before all the stuff came out, but man, that's crazy.
Listen, I'm watching players warming up on the field, and Austin Jackson, he is absolutely no sleeve in it. Oh, actually, he's got a compression sleeve on, but no, actually, that's David Long.
Yeah, David Long.
But his face is covered. His face is covered. Like, if you're gonna cover your face, why would you not wear sleeves? Think about it. Just give it some thought. You know what I'm saying? Just give it some thought.
Well,
if you're literally going to cover your face, why would you not wear sleeves?
Should we expect Ethan Bonner to get some action today?
Yes. And in fact, I think Ethan Bonner, I'll tell you guys, is going to be playing safety.
Let's go.
Yeah, Ethan Bonner is going to be the backup safety because I think Nick Needham is going to be needed at cornerback, primarily because I think Jalen Ramsey is going to draw the Kelsey assignment.
Man, that's wild. How did when you had Holland on this week, Solana? How was he? He was. Did he give you any insight on how he's feeling or anything like that?
Not really. I know he spoke with the media also, and you could tell, man, like he's bothered by his injury because it's his first injury ever. That's a significant injury, and it's on both knees. And he said it, or he's like, I didn't feel right. I didn't feel right in that game against Buffalo, and Brandon Jones filled in for me, and I felt comfortable about it because, as Omar would call him, Blitz Boy, was playing well. But
Blitz Boy was a danger to his teammates.
If I had to guess, he's not going to play today. If I had to guess, I'm not telling you that he told me that. But, I just think if he wasn't right, if he didn't feel right last week, I know it's a full week of extra
practice.
time, but he didn't practice, and the conditions. My guess is he's not going to do it.
Jerome Baker, by the way, minutes ago, tweeted out, he says, I truly feel like I let my team down. I pride myself on being available to play. This whole season, I missed the most games ever in my whole life.
That is correct. He's never missed a game.
Damn. That's tough.
So it is what it is, man. This is even Rob Hunt. There are guys on this team that have just struggled to play this season, and literally they've been the most healthy players on the entire franchise. So, you're just snake bitten by injury sometimes, and I'm not going to sit here and say that it's an excuse, but it's a very logical, valid reason why you're struggling as a team, especially when your top four offensive weapons are all battling through something.
Yeah, it's definitely they got a lot.
But it's Tua's fault.
Well,
remember that. It's always Tua's fault because people can't see anything but the quarterback.
But that's not just him alone. Like everybody, every quarterback who's good deals with that. Everybody does.
Yes, you're correct. Yeah,
I would
right.
say he's
not
more,
just him.
He's more polarizing, I say, nationally than on a lot of guys. He's one of those guys. He's a one-name athlete. Everybody, he's known, and everything he does gets debate. But that is what comes when you're going to make $50 million a year. That comes with the territory.
But Omar, I think you would also agree at some point, like, if you want to be considered a top 10 quarterback or an elite quarterback, whatever the case may be, you have to have one game. I'm sorry, not one. You have to have multiple games where you could look and say, hey, look at what this quarterback did. Look at what this guy did this.
Yeah.
And he just doesn't have that.
No, you're looking for him to have his moment. That's all it is. And it's like we can look to little moments and things like that, but like on stages, big stages like this, like, you know, that's what made Joe Burrow Teflon, makes a Super Bowl in his second year. CJ Stroud's about to go win his first playoff game and his first playoff start. You know, with Tua, you're just like, yeah, if he gets this, all right, he can throw middle fingers up at a lot of people.
He can, which is why I was asking, is this a must-win for Tua? We have inactives, by the way.
Here we go. What do we got here?
Yeah, Robbie Chosen, inactive.
That means Waddle's playing.
Woo-hoo. Javon Holland, inactive.
That's not a surprise.
Cam Smith, inactive.
Wow, they actually did it. Huh?
That is a surprise.
Hold the trigger on it, huh?
Hold on, wait a minute.
Xavier Howard, inactive. Keon Smith and Tyler Croft, inactive.
There you go.
So that means Deshaun Elliott is playing.
Deshaun
which
Elliott is playing.
A shock to me.
Or he'll try.
Or he'll try to play.
He's going to give it a go.
Javon Holland not playing, not a surprise. But Cam Smith, I can't sit here and say that I agree with this decision. Primarily because, one, he helps you on special teams. You're already thin on special teams. And if Elijah Campbell and Brandon Jones, who are core special teams players, are playing starting on your safety position, that takes away snaps from special teams. Cam Smith is a good gunner. So why would you not have him up active?
For the Chiefs, by the way,
Ethan Bonner's active. So
yeah.
Okay. So you're basically playing your undrafted rookie over your second round pick.
Tangibles.
You didn't just hit me with an intangible, did you? You did.
What do you got? Who's inactive for the Chiefs?
Justin Ross, wide receiver. Kadarius Toney, inactive. Keith,
that guy sucks.
Yeah. Keith Taylor, inactive.
I wish he was playing.
Addition by subtraction.
I'm like, damn. It's like Kadarius Toney's not playing. Damn.
I was thinking Kadarius Toney could give us a touchdown or something.
Yeah.
Like everyone just a football comes out of his butt and then just somehow whoop,
fumble, false start, lining up at the wrong spot.
I mean, he couldn't catch the ball in 80-degree weather. I mean, what the hell is he going to do in
wow.
negative 20-degree weather?
You really put it on him. Like
you
that.
just said he sucked. So I
He
can't
does
say he
suck.
can't catch the ball.
I wanted him to play, though. He does suck.
Keith Taylor, inactive. BJ Thompson, Wanya Morris, Neil Farrell, and Felix Anudike Uzoma.
Uzoma's playing.
Almost had a third one for Joe Flacco. Almost had his hat trick.
That kid, that safety Petrie, man, he's a good player.
This Texans team is looking legit, man.
Yeah.
Boys, before we get out of here, let us predict the game ball, which is brought to us by the powerful and capable
Texans
Lexus.
knew how to tank, right?
Yeah, apparently so. The Lexus GX, now the 10.3-inch touchscreen. Expand your comfort zone. Experience amazing at your local Lexus dealer. Omar, who will get the game ball if the Dolphins can pull this off today?
Raheem Mostert. I think this game has to be on Raheem Mostert's legs. He has had some dynamic games in the playoffs. He absolutely shredded the Chiefs in the earlier meeting with them. This is going to be a game where you're going to have to lean on the running game. And while I love A-Chain, and I think you should just definitely take that prop bet, that 40 yards or whatever it was, that was pretty low.
That is pretty low.
That is pretty low. I will jump on that thing. I think Raheem is, if they're going to win the game, Raheem Mostert is going to be the one that carries them to the victory.
Solana?
I'm going to go Durham Smythe.
Oh, really?
Durham Smythe. I do. I like the idea of Smythe being the second best option in terms of catch passing ability. I think Tyreek Hill is going to have a blanket all over him. Jalen Waddle, Omar told me, is not right. So somebody else is going to have to catch 8 to 10-yard passes. Give me the Durham Smythe playoff game in Kansas City, Smythe legacy game, Smythe touchdown to hopefully.
Did you just call it a Smythe legacy game?
Smythe.
Like, really?
Legacy game. Give me Durham Smythe today. Big one.
We'll always remember the Smythe legacy game.
Oh, man.
I don't know.
That's where he enters the Kittle stratosphere.
I mean,
the Travis Kelce stratosphere.
Durham Smythe, if you want to pass Anthony Fasano as fourth best Dolphins tight end of all time, you better show up today, dude.
I hope
it's a legacy game.
I hope he was watching Randy McMichael stats before this one, baby. Come on.
I'm gonna go with Tyreek. I feel like Tyreek in this cold ass weather, if there's one game he wants, he's gonna dial it up for this one. Him in space, secondary people falling all over the place. Doesn't even have to be bomb skis to him. I just feel like get him the ball. Although, like enough of giving him the ball behind the line of scrimmage. Like, let's go Tua. Get it, like McDaniel, enough of your cuteness. Let's just give Cheetah the ball, get the hell out of the way. Let him go do his thing. Throw up the peace sign over to the Chiefs. That's what we need today. He's been waiting for this. He has been talking bleep about the return to Arrowhead since August.
Yeah.
Even before August. I think it was last June.
He's been talking about it in the offseason.
Let's get to it, all right? This is what you've been waiting for, Cheetah. Now, there's not going to be as many Chiefs fans. They're freezing. But for the ones that are there, those are probably the most hardcore. There's somebody who's talked bleep to you in your mentions.
Listen, last time he played against Kansas City, Tyreek caught 8 passes for 62 yards. It was one of the the fourth lowest total that he had in the season.
And he yacked up the ball for a touchdown.
Yep.
So he's got some making up to do.
He does
in this performance. So look, boys, this is a big stage game. We've had some really fun, high stakes one towards the end of this season. Most of them have not gone well. Christmas Eve was the last time I recall feeling good. So I'm looking for some get back after some severe disappointment the last couple of weeks. But they say this is a reset. If they want if they truly believe that, give some more faith to the Dolphin fans. If you get this done in these harsh conditions, half your defense missing, then maybe you'll get people start believing again.
One of these OGs, they got to come alive because you can't have Patrick Mahomes in that pocket just all comfortable and cozy.
Well, Bruce told me he's a dog.
Yeah, I mean, rough. What does that mean?
What about Christian Wilkins, Zach Sealer, man, the sleeveless
salt
gang.
and pepper.
Yeah,
Zach Sealer, man,
right up the middle, baby.
Plus 10,000 anytime touchdown Sealer.
So, Tobin, you feel good or no?
I feel good. I feel good because it's a weird game. Like if you told me this was a normal game going into this, normal conditions, I wouldn't feel as good because of how they've been playing and they have been a letdown. But I truly feel like this is going to be a little wacky, this game. And football can be weird. And you give some wacky conditions, I think this is a game the Dolphins can definitely be in and have a chance to pull off a victory. And I don't think the Chiefs have looked any great shakes. Like their fan base doesn't have a lot of faith in them either. The only thing that they have going for them is they can lean on pedigree and that they've been there before. But, Joe Flacco's been there before. He's been a Super Bowl winner, and C.J. Stroud's kicking his ass.
Listen, if only thing that I can't tolerate is you can't be blown out like the Cleveland Browns are being blown out right now.
No, you need to show some competitive.
You need to show some competitive fight, some spirit, some fight. But if they get a big lead and you got to pin your ear and the defense gets to pin their ears back and hunt Tua, it's going to be a long day.
All right, everybody, that is Game Day Uncensored. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Hopefully, we'll be talking to you guys next week.
And that's the Wild Card Saturday Night